Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Holistic Career Summit. I am your host, Carolyn Cooper, and today I am super excited to have Dr. Gabrielle Polizzi with us. And let me just tell you a little bit about her. I'm excited for this conversation because Dr. Gabby was a former fashion model turned passionate professor and career coach for women in wellness. So in 2006, she completed her PhD and started changing lives with her transformational courses and coaching. After constant pressure to lose weight and become the ultra-thin model idealized by the media, Gabrielle left the unhealthy lifestyle behind and embarked on a journey to define beauty on her own terms. She studied everything from Buddhist philosophy to neuroscience, traveling to more than 40 countries to uncover creative and unconventional ways to live a healthy life. Today, Gabrielle has more than a decade of teaching experience under her belt at top universities in mind-body medicine and holistic health. And she's a holistic medicine expert and mentor to women of all ages. She empowers healers, health coaches, yoga instructors, therapists, and wellness practitioners to go beyond their limitations and achieve their career dreams. Welcome, Dr. Gabby. I'm so excited you're here.
Thanks so much, Carolyn, for having me.
Yeah, we're going to have fun today. I love everything that you are up to.
Yeah, so, you and I are in such good alignment with the kind of work that we're doing and the people we're trying to reach. It's always good to connect with people who share the same vision.
Yes, totally agree. So I love your story about being a former fashion model. Was there a defining moment, or was it just over a period of time that you decided, hey, I want something different?
Mhm. Yeah, I grew up wanting to be, a dancer, singer, actor, performer person. I took classes, theater classes and dance classes and painting classes. And I was just really passionate as a young person about the arts. My brother was a musician and he went on to be a professional musician. And I was enrolled in very cheesy beauty pageants like Miss Teen Pennsylvania and wore the crown and did all that kind of stuff. And that was just, I saw that as a life of just glamour and excitement and an opportunity to travel and have a fun life. And so I pursued it as a career. As soon as I graduated from high school, I moved to Manhattan. I got a modeling contract. I was taking some acting classes. I was doing that professionally. I thought that that's what I wanted to do. And I came from a really small town in Pennsylvania, and I was very naive about the realities of the entertainment industry. I never had any exposure to it. I only saw what was in the magazines and on the TV. And so I got to New York, and I was going on auditions and castings and hanging out with the whole crowd. And the dynamic was that, you were encouraged to live an unhealthy life. I would go to my agency, and I'm 5'8", 125 pounds. I would go to my agency and they would say, you're looking really heavy. Can you drop 15 pounds? And
wow.
15 pounds off of what I was would be practically anorexic. I mean, I was already a thin, a thin girl, and they wanted me to lose more weight. And I was encouraged regularly to lose more weight. And I tried really hard to lose weight to please them, to get the jobs. I did that for some time, trying to starve myself. My body I'm a naturally kind of athletic person. I love to dance. And you need to eat if you're doing that kind of fitness. And my body just was so uncomfortable and so unhappy. And after some time of really struggling with them and really feeling just the pressure of being forced to live in an unhealthy way, I decided that I needed to sort of abandon ship. I needed to find something else to do that was, just healthier and that I could just, live in a way that was more in alignment with who I really am. And so my father, he was a physician. He was a neurologist and psychiatrist. And I grew up in a home where we were always talking about medicine. We were always talking about science. And my dad had really wanted me to be a medical doctor and take over his medical practice. But as much as I was intrigued by traditional medicine, it seemed kind of narrow to me, because whenever were sick, no matter what the condition, it was just always medications and doctors, and it didn't feel good to me. And so I decided to study psychology in my undergraduate program, and I really enjoyed the psychology. And as part of the program, they introduced us to some alternative therapies. Like, I think we had a reflexology woman, give a presentation, and some different nutrition people. And that's when the light bulb went off that, like, oh my God, there's this whole world of holistic healing that is just so beautiful and powerful, and I need to get involved in that. Like, I don't know how, but I need to know about this. It feels good, like you get a massage and you feel yummy and delicious all over, and it's good for you. Or you have like a smoothie and it's beautiful and it's alive, and you feel vibrant after. And I liked that feeling. I wanted to feel good. And I jumped in. I went to massage school. I went to yoga training, meditation training. I did a 4-year program in healing touch, which is an energy medicine modality. I traveled to Tibet and China and Thailand and different places, and visited different healers. And I just tried to absorb and learn and explore everything that I could to understand this world, this new world. And now, somehow, it's 20 years later, and I'm still in this world. I'm teaching, I'm mentoring, I'm still learning. I never stop learning. And it's turned into a lifelong passion, kind of unexpectedly.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
What a great story. I love the part that when you said you were first exposed to it, you said, wow, I need to learn about this. Like, you were instantly drawn to it. Some people are, and some people, it takes them a little while. They think it's kind of weird at first, especially you grew up opposite of I did. I grew up with a chiropractor father. You grew up taking medicine. And so I love that once you were exposed to more alternative ways that you felt it in your heart, your gut, you followed that. Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did my dissertation research about women who were working in alternative medicine. I interviewed, energy healers, chiropractors, traditional healers, like, that had studied in indigenous cultures. And in the conversations that I had with them, everyone said that becoming a healer is a calling, that it's something that you feel. And for me, that was accurate. For me, once I started getting that touch therapy and once I started tapping into the energy of things, I felt at home. I was like, oh, this is it. I'm here. And it felt like the right place. It felt familiar almost. It was like, something that I didn't know, but I did know it on some level in my being. So that's a common thing that I hear when I talk to women who are in this field. They're like, oh, this is who I am. I'm connected to these healing arts, this healing energy. It's just who I am. And so I think that that's what it was. I think it was like a coming home and a feeling of like finding, my true self.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I totally get that. It feels like when you're first learning about these things, I know for me it felt like my spirit already knew it, and my conscious brain was just remembering things that my soul already knew. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So on that journey, it sounds like an awesome journey. You traveled all over and got to learn from so many great people and so many different modalities. did you have some obstacles? Did you make some mistakes? You're in a great place with it now. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious for our listeners who are so inspired by your story, and they're thinking, how do you get from point A to point B? How did she do that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything to share about, and any obstacles that you had to go through?
Yeah, of course. So in terms of engaging in these kinds of practices and having this as like a lifestyle, my experience is that you go through multiple periods of transformation, because as you're sort of shedding the layers, like you said, of your conscious mind that may have old patterns or habits or places where you're resisting, you have to let all of that go. So on a personal level, I was going through many periods of deep transformation, and transformation isn't always pretty. Sometimes it's like sobbing and crying. Sometimes it's like raging. Sometimes it's being really blissed out and like, just floating on a cloud. And I had to go through that, and I relied on mentors and teachers to tell me that it was okay. Like, it was okay to be sad or angry or not feeling good, just to keep going and to keep doing the practice, and I would have a breakthrough. So I really relied on them to sort of guide me, because I didn't really know what to expect. So in that piece, I think that, there's a couple of things that are important. Like, it's important to trust the process. It's important to have good people that you're working with that can guide you and mentor you and help you avoid, some pitfalls. That was significant. And then once it got to the point where I decided, like, I'm going to do this as a job, I'm going to do this as a career, then there was a whole nother level of considerations. One was that I had to take myself seriously. I had to have a resume. I had to demonstrate my knowledge of these things. I had to reach out to potential employers like the universities where I teach, and I had to say, this is my expertise and I want to teach this. And that was a different level of growth, because I had to develop my confidence and my comfort in myself as someone as a teacher. And it's different to be on the side of learner or student, or even apprentice, to like making that transition to, no, I'm a teacher. I know this and I can share this with others. And so I had to go through a period of time that it took a few years before I was really comfortable and confident in calling myself, a professor or an expert. And not getting stuck in hiding and just like, oh, well, I'll just get another certification. I'll just get another, I'll just do another training. But really stepping into what I already knew and sharing that with others. And then, most recently, the transition that has become significant for me, and it's something that I work on with other people, is now that I know that I have mastered these things and I can teach these things, now I'm looking at my relationship to creating more impact and to creating more wealth with what I'm doing. Because one of the things that I've noticed is, and I'm guilty of this too, is that I've undervalued some of my services, and I have, given away a lot of stuff for free, and I realized that it's important that I own my value and that I charge what I'm worth, so that I can use that wealth and that profit to create more change. I can donate to charities. I can create programs that other women can attend that they can benefit. If I am in that flow of really building a purposeful and profitable business, then I can have a lot more impact with what I'm doing. And that's like a new kind of thing that I've been owning the last few years, and helping other women to own, to stand in that power, and to, eliminate any underlying limiting beliefs about what I'm worth or what I deserve or what I need, and really kind of stepping into what I consider to be the entrepreneur, mindset. I had thought of myself for a long time as just a practitioner or a professor, and now I'm stepping into this idea of, no, like, I'm a business owner. I've owned a business for a long time, and what are the dynamics of stepping into that role of of being a business person in addition to being a practitioner. So that's like the newest frontier that I've been exploring.
I love that. I see that in my students. They'll go through my course, they'll go through my healing training course, and then through my business course, and it's like there's kind of a metamorphosis that comes. For some it comes sooner than others, but that is exactly what it is. It's taking themselves seriously. It's seeing themselves as, yes, I'm a practitioner. Oh, but I am also a business owner. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And, you know, I've done this for years, and I have to remind myself of that sometimes too, because I think most of us who do, you know, in the natural health and wellness professions and the healing arts, most of us are more interested in helping people and serving people. Mm-hmm. And there's this kind of a stigma, kind of like the starving artist, the starving healer. I think there's kind of this society which I'm feeling, or maybe it's just in my brain, it's my intention to see that fade to the background a little bit more. But there used to be a thing about that we can't. Oh,
it's got to go. It's got to go. I mean, right. We need to get rid of that. Like for thousands of years, women have been in a position. It started with like burning the witches at the stake. Women have been in this position where a lot of our skill set, a lot of our natural intuitive abilities have been either oppressed or discriminated against or, ostracized. And so a lot of the services that you're describing that women have provided, whether it's maintaining the home or taking care of children or serving and helping and caring for the people around them, a lot of that has been devalued. There wasn't a dollar amount attached to those things. It wasn't part of the marketplace. It was just something that women were expected to do. You take care of the family, you take care of the kids, the parents, the grandparents, you make the meals, you nourish. And now we've transitioned to moving that directly into the marketplace. It's now something that you buy, something that you sell, and the norms, the values, the culture of the marketplace isn't always in alignment with our own internal motivations, like why we're doing this and who we are. And so there's a lot of reconciliation that has to happen there. That needs to be healed. It needs to be integrated. We need to, move into a whole different mindset in order to make this transition, Yes.
Yeah. And I know so many people get stuck there. And the fear of other people's judgment. They raise their prices and somebody says, oh, well, you're using your gifts and you're charging. And to that I say, so does the athlete, so does the musician, so does the accountant, so does the business executive. Yeah. Everyone has gifts that they are using. That's what makes the world go round. And wouldn't it be beautiful if everyone followed the calling of their heart and stepped in and used those gifts, knowing that it's okay to make a profitable career at using what you're gifted with. Wouldn't it be a great world if everyone did that? If everyone was in the profession that their gifts lied. Yeah. So I have another question for you. I love everything you've said. I'm so in alignment with what you're saying, because both of us have been in this industry for a long time, and I've seen a lot of change in it over, especially the last decade, which is a lovely thing to watch. So I'm just curious, what do you love most about your career? That's a big question.
One of the things that's so interesting is this process that I've described to you of it's always different. I mean, the practitioner that I am today is not the practitioner I was 5 years or 10 years ago. And the clients that I serve and the students that I have are not the same today as they were 5 years ago or 10 years ago. There's this constant evolution, movement, change, progress. We didn't have, like Mind Body Green and all these like online resources. Like when I wrote my dissertation in 2006, there wasn't a website up really that I could go to that had any kind of holistic information. And it was just, there was no Facebook. And now, so much of my work has moved online because life has moved online. And so the thing that's so interesting for me is that I have the opportunity all the time to be learning. I've been, learning about online marketing for the last 2 years and social media. And what does that really have to do with healing? Well, it's a way for me to communicate and connect with people who want to learn about healing. And so there's always this opportunity to change, to grow, to learn, to connect. And I can't even imagine what it's going to be like 10 years from now. It's just all moving so fast, and I find it very stimulating, and I'm never bored. I'm always challenged. And it's very fulfilling. It's very fulfilling to be able to continue to do the kind of work that I do and to now, impact so many more people.
Yeah. I think that's interesting too, that for me, I'm pretty right-brained, so I followed my heart into this profession, and then the world changes and whoa, everything's online, like you said, so now I have to learn all these other skills. I'm like, oh dear, I have to learn a little technology. Okay. And so yes, it is stimulating and constant growth, like just always growing, but I think our bodies and our minds and our souls love that and crave that. We're meant to be creative, I believe. So there's no end to what we can learn, whether it's in our profession or how to use our profession to get out there in the world to help more people and to have a bigger impact in the world. So it's just it's a really fun time to be alive and to be in this kind of work, and the world needs people who are wellness advocates and that know about how energy works or how the body works or all of that. It's just, I feel like it's just so necessary at such a great time in the history of the world to be in professions like this and be able to help other people. And it is really rewarding.
These are exploding professions. I mean, with the massive growth of like Institute of Integrative Nutrition, for example, and the tens of thousands of people that are now being certified as health coaches, and I mean, there's just this massive growth in our industry it's just amazing. I used to have conversations with people like on an airplane or a cocktail party or something, years ago when I was writing my dissertation, and I would try to explain to them what I was doing, and they were just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? But now there's a mainstream consciousness about so many of the things that we're doing. I mean, you rarely meet a person who doesn't know what Reiki is or, is not familiar with what a raw diet is or something like that. It's just, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that. I always like being kind of the edgy one, the weird one, doing weird things. But now it's kind of more mainstream. But that has its perks with it too, because now people know what it is. Like you said, you can tell people what you do, and they're like, "Oh, I'm familiar with that." Where even just a few years ago, not so much. Hey, I just have this burning question, though. I would love to jump back to the first of your story about your dad and he wanted you to go to medical school. How are your parents still living, and how are they? Do they love what you're doing now? How were they when you made that transition?
Well, my parents are not still alive. Actually, both my parents died pretty young. My mom was 52. My dad was 62. My dad, although he was a physician, he didn't take care of himself, which is common in Western medicine. It's common for doctors and nurses to burn out, to have really unhealthy lifestyles because the practice is not holistic. The practice is, very compartmentalized, very fragmented. So you can serve others, but then, you're eating junk food and drinking soda and watching TV, right? So, So when I got into the whole holistic thing, there was a lot of resistance in my family because I would come to family events, and there'd be big barbecues or whatever, and I would bring my package of veggie burgers for the grill, and my brothers and sisters would make fun of me. My dad would tease me and tell me I was eating grass and that people don't eat grass, and there was this kind of, I was definitely the weird one. And then what's happened, ironically, over the last 10 years, as my dad had his illness and as the mainstream consciousness has caught up with what we're doing, all of a sudden, my family members are turning to me and going, what are you doing? We need to do what you're doing. And my brothers and sisters will come to me. They'll ask me about meditation. They'll ask me about yoga. They'll say that they have pain and what can they do holistically to treat it. And so because I maintained my, path, and because I stayed committed to holistic health, it's now a gift because now they see that I've had this lifestyle. They see that I'm 41 years old and I don't have any illnesses. I'm healthy and strong and fit, and I'm doing headstands and and they look at me and they're like, how are you, what's that, who are you, how are you able to have the health and the energy that you have? And so now it's a gift in the long run, but there were many years where it was very challenging to be the only one in my family who was a vegetarian or who wasn't drinking and smoking, or that was a difficult time, but I just stuck it out, and now it's all worked out in the end.
Yeah, what a great example for your family members and everyone else around, and just what a blessing to your family. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great story. I just kept wanting to ask you about that, and I'm glad I did, because I know there are a lot of people who feel like that in their family, like that they're trying to make strides and do things in a more positive way, and that, sometimes get ridiculed for it or put down. But I think deep down people think, wow, that'd be good to have that kind of self-discipline and, be that healthy. And when people are ready, they step on the path to health and wellness. So
it's one of the most common things that I've heard from my students over the years. They'll be in my classes, we'll be learning about something. They'll go home, they'll tell their family members, oh, I learned this at school, we should all do this. The family will, tease them or resist them. They'll come back to class and they'll say, oh, I tried to take this home to my friends or my family. No one will listen to me, or they just made fun of me. And they tell me I think I'm better than them, or these things. And so, I have to have conversations with my students all the time and say, you just need to do this for yourself, and they will, over time, they will see your health and your energy and your vibrancy, and then they'll ask you, what are you doing and how can I do it? I always encourage my students not to go home and preach the holistic health religion. Don't go home and try to convert them. Just do it, embody it, live it, have this lifestyle, and eventually, people will start asking you and coming to you for the guidance. So that's a very common situation that I hear all the time.
Yeah, and that is so true. The best way to do it is just live it the best you can live it, and other people will see that. Oh, I learned that really early on when I went vegetarian many years ago, 28 years ago or something. Because you're so excited about it and you're learning all this new stuff.
Right.
It feels so great. You want to share it with everyone you love. And they're like, yeah, we don't want you to share it.
Right.
So I understand that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Oh, this has been so much fun. Just in closing, do you have any advice for, I know you have advice because this is what you do for your career, but advice for that you can put in a nutshell for aspiring wellness people who are stepping into or are already in a wellness or holistic career?
Yeah, the number one thing that I learned in the beginning and that I continue to learn over and over again is support. You have to have support. If you're going to be in a health and wellness practitioner, if you're going to be a health coach, a therapist, an energy healer, a yoga teacher, you have to have support, because the example of the family and friends maybe not accepting you or embracing your passion is only one of a million little things that's going to come up. You're going to have health challenges, financial challenges. You're going to have all kinds of decisions that you need to make. Do I go right? Do I go left? And the way that you navigate that, the way that you survive it, the way that you thrive in your career is by having support. That's one of the reasons why I created my community. I have women that I have, I coach one-on-one, or we do group sessions where we get together on live video calls. We have private discussion forum. I do summits like you're doing where I do a bunch of interviews, and then I share that with the community so that they can learn from experts. And the reason I created that, and the reason I always participate in those kinds of communities, is because it's the only way to get through it. It's the only way to be successful. And everyone that I've interviewed consistently says the same thing. You have to be part of community. You have to have a support group. If you don't have one close to you, find one online. If you can't find one that you love, create your own. Whatever you can do to get that support and that community is essential for this path.
Yeah, I totally agree with that too. It is something that you need. You need support. Well, you need like-minded people to talk to, and someone who's further along the trail than you are to help you along the way. I love what you're doing with your career coaching for people who are in these kind of fields, because in the past there just hasn't. I know when I started out, I had a couple of like-minded friends to talk to, but if I would have known of someone like you, I don't think there was anyone. I'm sure there wasn't anyone at that time doing career coaching for wellness careers. I would have just done that. That would have been so nice to just say, here, hold my hand and help me on this path and give me a community of people who think the same way I do. And yeah, it's just a wonderful and much needed thing that you are doing in your work. I love it. Oh,
I love it. So, it's my passion.
I know. I love that you love it, and it comes out in your voice. You can just hear how much you love what you do. So our time has come to an end, darn it. But I did Dr. Gabby's link to her website is here on this page. And I know you do have a free meditation download that people can get at your site, and all the information and the links to that will be right here. Yeah, did you want to say anything?
I have so many free things. I mean, anybody who's listening to this, you can do a free discovery session with me. We can get on the phone for half an hour. You can tell me what's going on, and I can make recommendations for you. If you go to GabriellePolici.com/free stuff, there's free meditation download there, which helps you envision your career and get clarity about your career goals. I have a book on Amazon that costs $10. It's called Blissful Business, a gorgeous guide to creating your dream career in health and wellness. That has hundreds of exercises that you can do to figure out your marketing and your social media and how you create sessions and classes. So there's so much that I can give, and I love giving it. So, you can find me at GabriellePolici.com. You can schedule your free conversation with me, and I'm happy to help you create more success with your work and life.
Awesome. Perfect. That was great. All right. So I will say goodbye for now, and thank you so much, Dr. Gabby. I've just really enjoyed being able to talk to you and spread the word of the wonderful work that you are doing in the world. So thank you, and thank you, everyone, and we will see you next time.